हेलो एंड वेलकम एवरीवन, दिस इज प्रोफेसर सिद्धार्थ सुराना। आई होप यू गाइस आर डूइंग गुड और मैं तो हमेशा मस्त ही रहता हूं। वेलकम टू द आरटीपी लेक्चर सीए फाइनल डायरेक्ट टैक्स फॉर May 2023 एग्जाम्स। दिस आरटीपी कंटेन्स a total of 25 questions, 15 MCQs and 10 descriptive subjective questions. In those 15 MCQs, 11 are case study based. So first case study mein we have 6 MCQs, second mein we have 5, that is 11, plus we have 4 individual questions and then 10 descriptive questions जैसा कि मैंने बोला. If you want an opinion about this RTP, when I compare it with past few attempts का RTP, if you go check November 22 RTP or May 22 RTP or December 21 RTP, so I'll tell you what, they have been really difficult. Difficult means very difficult questions, especially the MCQ part, that MCQ part which a lot of students are having difficulty. Very difficult. Whether you check that ULIP policy ka question which they had asked in one of the past RTPs, whether you check that 45.4 and 9B ka case study, what a case study. Very difficult case study. But surprisingly, this RTP ka questions are not as difficult as the last few attempts. Last few attempts का RTP का MCQs have been very difficult. Of course, every attempt के बाद में हमने तो solve करके उसको YouTube पे upload किया ही था. But this is comparatively much easier if compared with the past few attempts का RTPs. अगर logic लगा है, last few RTPs बहुत difficult था. And so were the question papers. If you see the last few attempt का question papers, they were very difficult. अगर सेम इंस्टीट्यूट फॉलो करके if they have given an easy RTP, क्वेश्चन पेपर भी इजी निकाल दे तो मजा आ जाए. नहीं तो let us see what do we have in this question. As far as language is concerned, 70% से ज्यादा 70-80% is going to be English only. But yes, I will be using some Hindi here and there. Also वो जरूरी भी है because South Indian students have given me so much support over so many years. 100% English का lectures I have taken always. But at the same time now North Indian students are also requesting, sir हमारे पास कोई अच्छा ऑप्शन नहीं है सर, आप थोड़ा तो हिंदी बोलो, आप थोड़ा बोलोगे तो we will also be able to opt for your lectures. तो नॉर्थ इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स को भी डिसअपॉइंट नहीं करते हुए थोड़ी थोड़ी हिंदी will be used. At the same time I have to keep respect of those South Indian students who have supported me so many years से, because anyway South में तो there is no other option only. तो keeping that a proper blend of 70-80% English, that every provision is clearly understood, at the same time 20-30% हिंदी, ताकि भाई नॉर्थ इंडियन वालों को लगे हाँ भाई अपना आदमी मस्त है, तू बोल मजा आ रहा है. तो I will keep a proper blend so that दोनों काम हो जाए. Let us see what do we have. This is where the RTP starts. They have also stated that along with this RTP we are releasing something called a judicial update, which is ये एक hyperlink they have given here, relevant for May 23 एग्जाम. जुडिशियल अपडेट बेसिकली मींस केस लॉज, और केस लॉज ना जिसने हमारा फुल कोर्स का लेक्चर या क्रैश कोर्स का लेक्चर लिया है उसको एक्सेस दिया जाएगा केस लॉ लेक्चर का. केस लॉ लेक्चर कभी भी फ्री में यूट्यूब पे अपलोड नहीं होता है. इन यूट्यूब वी जनरली हैव रिविजन लेक्चर्स, अमेंडमेंट लेक्चर्स, आरटीपी लेक्चर, सीए इंटरमीडिएट का तो फुल सिलेबस ओनली आई हैव पुट, वो भी दोनों लैंग्वेज में. इंग्लिश वाला तो कब का डाल दिया, वो बहुत पॉपुलर हो गया. ये तभी तो ये हिंदी का सिस्टम अभी चालू किया क्योंकि वो इंग्लिश वाले लेक्चर्स देख के सीए इंटर के नॉर्थ के बच्चे आर लाइक सर हमारा कुछ करो सर. तो वो हिंदी वाला भी आई हैव स्टार्टेड अपलोडिंग इंटरमीडिएट का लेक्चर्स. तो उसकी वजह से नाउ आई हैव रियलाइज कि भाई दोनों लैंग्वेज का जस्टिस आई हैव टू डू, एंड कॉन्सिक्वेंटली I am going to, as I told you, the mixture of language which I already told you, but enough English that everyone from South will also understand what is happening. So judicial update will be given to crash course and full course lectures ka students, and RTP as we are discussing. Going to the first case scenario without wasting any time, we are given a case study. Let me give you a brief background about case study 1. वो करके फिर I will also give you background of case study 2 before we start. That this case study is basically giving us a story of two brothers. There is one brother called Mr. Hari and Mr. Rajesh. They have given all the income details of Mr. Hari. They have given some income details of Mr. Rajesh. They are doing some businesses. Along with that, they are also trading in something called VDA वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट, जैसा कि हमको पता है कि वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट से रिलेटेड देयर आर प्लेंटी ऑफ न्यू टैक्स प्रोविजंस, चाहे उसके प्रॉफिट का जो फ्लैट 30% लगता है या लॉस लैप्स होता है, देयर विल बी ओनली वन डिडक्शन दैट इज कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन, उसके अलावा देयर इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी any other deduction, only cost will be allowed, profit will be taxed at flat 30, losses will lapse, the TDS provision related to that, all that has been tested out here. So major part is that virtual digital asset wala amendment wala part, as far as the tax rate is concerned, as far as the TDS part is concerned, all that is going to be tested. In fact, in income from other sources, in gift provision also, in asset received as taxable gift, now we are going to cover virtual digital asset, so over there also some concept is going to be applicable. So let us see what do we have and what are the 6 questions. In case study 1 they have asked 6 MCQs, case study 2 they have 5 MCQs only. So Mr. Hari, age 42 years, in case they ask to calculate tax, तो ये काम आएगा, age is a factor no tax calculation के अंदर, is a resident in, तो it is resident individual, resident individual है मतलब rebate will be applicable if 5 lakhs. See how many provisions of tax come together. Age 42 years, accordingly you will apply your basic exemption limit. He is a salaried employee, okay, मतलब इसका major income from salary रहेगा. His salary income computed for the year is 17,50,000, मतलब salary का जितना भी adjustment है सब कर लिया, computed income दिया है, मतलब they have calculated all allowances, perquisites, everything. And of course his brother Rajesh 3 years elder है, 45, लेकिन basic exemption will be still 2,50,000, again a resident Indian. So both are residents, both are individuals, and both are non-senior citizens carrying on retail trade business, retail trade in which he has incurred loss of 5,25,000. तो हरी सैलरीड है 17,50,000 का टेक होम सैलरी, टैक्सेबल सैलरी कंप्यूटेड एज पर इनकम टैक्स, और राजेश उसके ब्रदर का जो है वो 5,25,000 का लॉस उसने सफर किया. दिस लॉस इज ऑल्सो कंप्यूटेड, मतलब जो भी आपके पीजीबीपी के प्रोविजंस होते हैं उसके हिसाब से फॉर दिस ईयर, मतलब करंट ईयर का एक चीज तो क्लियर हो गया, हरी का सैलरी, राजेश का बिजनेस लॉस. नाउ he also trades in virtual digital asset. He मतलब now we have Rajesh का story, तो he also trades in virtual digital asset. The details of asset transferred by Mr. Hari and Mr. Rajesh during 20 to 23 are given year under. तो during the year इन्होंने क्या क्या एसेट बेचे, मतलब ये सब हो गए इनके कैपिटल गेन के डिटेल. ऊपर तो था हरी का सैलरी, राजेश का बिजनेस लॉस, हाउस प्रॉपर्टी का कुछ दिया नहीं है, एंड सेल ऑफ एसेट मतलब कैपिटल गेन. तो फर्स्ट दे हैव गिवन लेफ्ट कॉलम में हरी, राइट कॉलम में राजेश. हरी एंड राजेश क्या दिया है, लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग, डेट ऑफ एक्विजिशन 1/4/21 एंड डेट ऑफ ट्रांसफर 28 Feb 23. ये सब देख के ना थिंग्स शुड क्लिक टू यू. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? 1st April 21 एंड सोल्ड ऑन 28 February 23, मतलब वी हैव नॉट कंप्लीटेड 24 months. मतलब ये जो भी बिल्डिंग का आपका कैपिटल गेन आएगा, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन, सो इंडेक्सेशन एक्सेट्रा नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. देन वंस इट इज शॉर्ट टर्म, नो थिंग्स बिकम वेरी इजी. कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन 20 lakhs, transfer expense 1 lakh, selling price 30, effectively we can say 30 minus 1 minus 20, 9 lakh का short term capital gain clearly दिख रहा है, 9 lakh का short term capital gain for Mr. Hari. Now let's talk about the virtual digital asset which are being sold by both of them. Okay, Hari के पास 40 है units, number जैसे number of shares या ऐसा होता है, तो number of virtual digital asset 40 Dogecoin या 40 Bitcoin ऐसा कुछ, और राजेश के पास 50 है. Date of acquisition 1st April 20, 31st May 20. This is the cost 5,20,000, 2,50,000. Transfer expenses दिया है 1,000 and selling price मतलब they have sold on 1st September 22, 1st March 23, मतलब this is also 22-23, ये भी 22-23 है. ये है आपका selling price, ये आपका cost price, selling price, cost price. This is going to be capital gain on virtual digital asset, and यही तो provision I was discussing before I started this question. Do we know only sale minus cost will be calculated, sale minus cost, any other expense is going to be ignored. यहाँ पे if you see तो it is coming to a loss of 30,000 which is going to lapse, loss का कोई benefit नहीं. यहाँ पे it is coming to gain of 1 lakh which will be taxable at flat 30%. Flat 30% because virtual digital asset के लिए they have introduced special rate of tax chapter 12. मतलब कैपिटल गेन चैप्टर, अदर सोर्सेज चैप्टर, टीडीएस चैप्टर, स्पेशल रेट्स ऑफ टैक्स चैप्टर, नो डिडक्शन ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस वाला पार्ट, एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग टेस्टेड एट वन प्लेस. ठीक है, तो 1 लाख का कैपिटल गेन ईयर एंड 30,000 का लॉस आउट ईयर. वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट एज पर definition of capital asset will be covered in the definition of capital asset, and thus virtual digital asset even if you are trading ये capital gains के अंदर जाएगा. accordingly this loss is going to lapse, but profit पे flat 30 is going to be applicable. So if we remember Hari ka story, 17,50,000 ka he has salary and this loss which will be ignored. And if we talk about Rajesh, 5,25,000 ka we have business loss and we have 1 lakh ka this. Though we also remember that one, we will not get this deduction, plus we can't adjust losses also against this. So that 525 cannot be adjusted against this. That will remain as it is and this 1 lakh will be taxable at flat 30%. ये special rate of tax है. आगे क्या? The fair market value on the date of transfer was 5,10,000 and 4,10,000. So listen, Hari has sold for 490, but FMV was 510. Rajesh has sold for 350, but FMV was 410. That means, can I say both of them have sold their virtual digital asset at lower than FMV? Mitro, in immovable property, you have 50C. If sold less than the stamp duty value, then you have to take stamp duty value. But virtual digital asset mein, they have not included any such rule. Virtual digital asset mein, we have to take actual selling price and actual cost price only. So can I say from the point of view of Rajesh or Hari ka capital gain calculation, it is going to remain this only. The fair market value is irrelevant. But let us talk about the receiver. The receiver has purchased for 490, but market value is 510, and virtual digital asset falls in the definition of asset received as gift. That means the receiver has received asset worth 510 and paid only 490, which means it's a gift of 20,000 rupees. Here, the receiver has received asset worth 4 lakh, paid only 350, that means has received gift of 60,000 rupees. This is gift of 20,000, this is gift of 60,000. To the receiver, see again, Hari and Rajesh, the seller, will offer this only as their selling price. They will offer this only. क्योंकि सेलिंग प्राइस अंडर कैपिटल गेन में यहां पे कोई एफएमवी कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं लगा है लैंड के जैसे, बट रिसीवर के लिए गिफ्ट होगा बिकॉज देयर इज अ डिफरेंस. एंड अगेन इफ यू ऑब्जर्व, दिस गिफ्ट इज लेस देन 50,000, तो ये टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा, लेकिन ये गिफ्ट मोर देन 50,000 है तो ये टैक्सेबल होगा. मतलब आईएफओएस का 50,000 का थ्रेशोल्ड भी चेक हो रहा है. ओके. पर्सन टू हुम इट इज ट्रांसफर्ड. हरि ने किसको बेचा? गणेश को बेचा, हु इज एंगेज इन द बिजनेस ऑफ फूड ग्रेन्स. एंड राजेश ने किसको बेचा? मिस्टर वलिश, हु इज एंगेज इन द बिजनेस ऑफ फर्नीचर. मतलब हरि एंड राजेश हैव रिस्पेक्टिवली सोल्ड टू मिस्टर गणेश एंड मिस्टर वालिश. गणेश हैज रिसीव्ड asset worth 510 in 490. He has paid 490, 20,000 का gift but less than 50,000, so not taxable. Walish has received 410 का gift at 350, so 60 का gift and more than 50 तो fully taxable. Turnover of Mr. Ganesh and Mr. Walish, last year's turnover. ये जो buyer है ना, buyer, इसका last year का turnover 90 lakh, इसका last year का turnover 15 lakh. They are giving last year's turnover. Last year's turnover and turnover of the transferee of the current year. Current year ka turnover is also given. Last year ka turnover and current year ka. Why, sir? Now, whenever we purchase virtual digital asset, so on the purchase of virtual digital asset, we have to deduct TDS. Can I say Ganesh is paying 490 to Hari and Walish is paying 350 to Rajesh? So on these payments, they have to deduct TDS. They have to deduct TDS. तो उसके लिए their turnovers are given. That TDS का provision 194S that I will revise with you when I come to that TDS वाला MCQ. There is one small correction also that I want you guys to do that. The correction also should be done in the books that you have taken and the revision cum amendment lecture. There is a printing mistake and I apologize for that. So I will tell you about that correction also. But do you understand? The turnover of the buyer will be relevant for deciding TDS because they are buying the virtual digital asset from Hari and Rajesh. Hari and Rajesh are selling to Ganesh and Walish respectively. तो वो TDS के काम के लिए आएगा. During 20 to 23, Hari has dividend income of 10 lakh from shares of Indian companies and he has paid interest of 4 lakh on loan borrowed for investment. मतलब salary है, loss on virtual digital asset which will lapse and dividend income under income from other sources 10 lakh. Expenses 4 lakh. Dividend के सामने expenses allowed क्या? हाँ, लेकिन only interest. Is this interest? हाँ, but still only 20% of income. So if your income is 10, you'll get deduction only of 2. मतलब IFOS का that point is also tested. हरी का salary 1750, loss तो ignore होगा and IFOS में 10 लेकिन expense of interest only 2. Let's stick to 20% of income वो लेना होगा. बोथ हरी एंड राजेश हैव डिपॉजिटेड 1,50,000 इन पीपीएफ। ठीक है, तो ये तो आपका एटीसी का डिडक्शन हो गया। हरी को सैलरी की इनकम के सामने मिलेगा। राजेश का इफ यू ऑब्जर्व, बिजनेस में तो लॉस था, कैपिटल गेन में ही हैज ओनली वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट, जिसके सामने उसको कोई बेनिफिट नहीं मिलने वाला है। तो दैट वे ये 150 किसके सामने लेगा? 150 लेने के लिए ही डज नॉट हैव एनी इनकम। हरी हैज इंटरेस्ट ऑन सेविंग अकाउंट ऑल्सो 22, मतलब हरी हैज गॉट सैलरी, he has got virtual digital asset का loss which we will ignore, he has got dividend and he has got saving account interest, and from that we can take 1,50,000 का deduction. Rajesh has only got business loss which cannot be adjusted against virtual digital asset का profit, only 1,00,000 का profit we have, and he has got income from fixed deposit of 50. ये 50 के सामने you can adjust business loss also, ये 50 के सामने you can take PPF, but of course कितना लोगे? business loss is 525, PPF is 1,25,000. How much will you take? PPF comes in deductions. Set off happens before deduction. So against this 50 we will adjust business loss. 525 का जो business loss था here, against 50 we will adjust. So there is no other income, and of course therefore ATC का deduction will lapse. Cost inflation index is given. We have observed in this entire question, whatever capital gain is there, either it is short term जैसे कि land, or virtual digital asset में we anyways don't give any benefit other than cost of acquisition. So there is no question of indexation. So accordingly, let us see what are the questions asked to us. On the basis of the facts, choose the most appropriate answer. 6 questions on this case study. First, what is the tax treatment of loss from transfer of virtual digital asset by Hari? So did we see Hari as a loss? How? वापस दिखाता हूं. How? ये 30 लिखा तो है यार. Why am I erasing it? चल छोड़. 520 is your purchase price, 490 is your selling price, 30 का loss. We have already discussed that virtual digital asset में if there is profit तो flat 30, loss तो it will lapse, same as casual winning, but casual winning में you don't get a single rupee of deduction. Here you get at least your cost of acquisition. ये नहीं मिलेगा, but cost you will get 30,000 will lapse. तो it is long term capital asset loss which cannot be set off against capital gains on transfer of land and building. It has to be carried forward. Wrong. Carry forward नहीं हो सकता. Short term capital loss which can be set off. Wrong. Cannot be set off against any source of income but can be carried forward. Wrong. Such loss can neither be set off against any source of income nor it can be carried forward. Neither set off nor carry forward. 1 का answer. No set off. As I said, I have already solved the whole RTP. So 1 का answer, no set off, no carry forward. Therefore, your answer is going to be D. All the questions are that way. Solved by me already. ठीक है? चलिए. Second, what is the income includable in the total income of Mr. Rajesh on account of transfer of only virtual digital asset? मतलब वो loss का या उसका fixed deposit interest का, they are not asking anything. वो सिर्फ क्या पूछ रहा है? Only what they are asking? They are only asking virtual digital asset, which again we have already computed. Selling price 350, cross price 250, transfer expenses will not be allowed, and therefore 1 lakh is going to be taxable. 1 lakh is going to be taxable. अगर आप transfer expense दोगे तो you will get this answer, but it is wrong. 1 lakh is going to be taxable. Only 1 lakh. 350 minus 250 equal to 1 lakh. No other deduction, and therefore answer is going to be B. समझा क्या? चलिए. What is the amount of tax deductible by Mr. Ganesh and Valish under 194S for consideration paid to Hari and Rajesh respectively? Ganesh is paying how much to Hari and Valish is paying how much to Rajesh? What is the selling price respectively? This is 4,90,000 and 3,50,000. Means Hari has sold to Ganesh at a price of 490 and Rajesh has sold to Valish at a price of 350. Okay, means this is 4,90,000 का transaction value, not TDS का rate we will apply, and this is 3,50,000 का. 194S newly introduced provision. I would like to bring you guys to my revision book, my handwritten book, for a small correction. This is the newly introduced section 194S incorporated with effect from 1st July 22. Whenever any person pays for virtual digital asset to any resident. Now, can I say Hari and Rajesh both are residents? So this is Ganesh, this is Valish paying to Hari and Rajesh respectively. Ganesh is paying 490 to Hari and Valish is paying 3,50,000 to Rajesh. Monetary limit. If the payer is individual HUF, with last year ka turnover less than 1 crore in business or less than 50 lakh in profession, then the applicable threshold is going to be more than 50,000. Then the applicable threshold is going to be more than 50,000. So listen, first of all, they have given you turnover of both pairs. In fact, they have given you last year as well as current year. So first of all, for TDS purpose, current year ka turnover is irrelevant. Current year ka turnover is irrelevant. We have to see turnover of last year. Turnover of last year, both of them are business, in business. So once they are in business, you don't have to apply the limit of 50 lakh, you have to apply the limit of 1 crore. So this is also less than 1 crore and this is also less than 1 crore. दोनों less than 1 crore है, दोनों less than 1 crore है. So what is the rule? They will deduct TDS only if they are paying more than rupees 50,000. ये लोग कब TDS deduct करेंगे? Only when it is more than rupees 50,000. Are both of them paying more than rupees 50,000? Is 4,90,000 more than 50 and 350 also more than 50? Are both of them paying more than 50? Okay, 490 and 350 दोनों. That means ये वाले point में TDS आ गया. The correction which I want to make you do in the book is, I apologize for this error. This other cases, supposingly last year का turnover 1 crore से ज्यादा होता है in business या 50 lakh से ज्यादा होता है in profession. So in that case, the limit that will apply will not be 20. Please make this correction in the textbook as well as your handwritten book and of course the revision cum amendment lecture. ये 20 नहीं है. This second amount is going to be 10,000 rupees. In any case, the question that we are doing, Ganesh and Valish wala question, in that both the pairs have last year ka turnover less than 1 crore in business and they have to deduct after threshold of 50. Both of them are paying more than 50. So both of them have to deduct TDS at 1%. So 4,90,000 ka 1% will be 4,900 and 3,50,000 ka 1% will be 3,500. This is going to be the TDS which will be applicable. So this is the point that is tested in the MCQ case study. But in any case, if the turnover had exceeded, current year ka turnover we don't check. नहीं तो गणेश का current year is exceeding. Last year का भी check. If last year ka was more than 1 crore, then we would have applied this threshold and this is the correction. It is not going to be 20,000. It is going to be 10,000. It is not going to be 20,000. It is going to be 10,000. Okay. So kindly make this correction. And in any case, in the current question that we are doing, I apologize for the error. It is not 20, it is 10,000. Please make this correction in the textbook as well as the revision lecture and the revision book. And now we come to the question. We have already discussed that in the current case, last year's turnover has to be checked. So current year we don't. Last year both turnovers are up to rupees 1 crore because last year ka both turnovers are up to 1 crore. 50,000 ka threshold will apply and both are exceeding 50,000 and thus 1% aayega. So nil is going to be wrong. 4,900 and nil will be wrong. 5,100, 4,100. We don't have to deduct TDS on the FMV. देखो, in that property वाला ना, there is one more amendment. If property is 50 lakhs or more, उसका what is the amendment? Actual or stamp duty value, whichever is higher के ऊपर we have to apply that TDS. But here it is not the case. FMV is irrelevant for virtual digital asset. Accordingly, 4,900 and 3,500, 1% of the sale consideration. This is going to be your answer. 1% of 4,009 for 4,90,000, 4,900. 1% of 3,50,000, 3,500. And accordingly, the answer is going to be option D. Accordingly, the answer is going to be option D. Next, what is the income includable? And one more time, I apologize for that printing error. The second limit is not 20, it is 10. 4. What is the income includable in the total income of Ganesh and Valish on receipt of virtual digital asset for inadequate consideration? मतलब आ गया ना testing of your income from other sources, as I already discussed with you. Fair market value 5,10,000, but he paid only 4,90,000. So it is a gift of 20,000 rupees. And in case of Valish, fair market value 4,10,000, but he paid only 350. So it is a gift of 60,000. That way, if you see, both of them have received some gift. While both of them have received some gift, gift का rule यही है कि अगर 50,000 से ऊपर होता है तो ही वो taxable. So this is not taxable, but this will be taxable. Accordingly, Ganesh के लिए taxable gift will be 0. Ganesh के लिए taxable gift will be 0 because it is less than 50, and Valish के लिए it is more than 50, so it will be fully taxable. We just have to see, जैसा यहाँ पे तो दिख ही रहा है, it is option D. Let us see in the MCQ, where is it given? 0 and 20 and 0, नहीं, 0 in both, 20 भी नहीं because less than 50, it will be 0 and 60. That is how it is going to be computed. Next question, question 5. What is the total income rounded off of Mr. Hari? Assume that he has not opted for 115 BAC. अगर 115 BAC नहीं लिया मतलब ओल्ड रेजिम. ओल्ड रेजिम मतलब वो 80C का जो पीपीएफ है ना, वो डिडक्शन मिलेगा. ओल्ड रेजिम मतलब जो सैलरी इनकम कंप्यूटेड है ना, वो स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन लेके कंप्यूटेड है. ओके, तो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी द टोटल इनकम? सिंपल है, सैलरी लेना है. हाउस प्रॉपर्टी इज नॉट देयर. कैपिटल गेन में वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट का लॉस वी विल इग्नोर, एंड लैंड का शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन, सो नॉर्मल रेट ऑफ टैक्स वी विल टेक. एंड आई थिंक इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेज में इसका 2 इनकम है. डिविडेंड का भी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस, 10 लाख माइनस ओनली 2 लाख, ओनली 20%, एंड ही हैज गॉट इंटरेस्ट ऑफ 22. एक एक करके वी टेक द टोटल. जीटीआई मिलेगा, वी विल टेक 1,50,000 का पीपीएफ का डिडक्शन, ऑटोमेटिकली वी विल गेट अवर अमाउंट. एंड दिस इज आई थिंक सेविंग अकाउंट. तो सेविंग अकाउंट है तो टीटीए का भी आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा. एज आई सेड, आई हैव ऑलरेडी सॉल्व. तो बहुत इजी है. हरी हैज गॉट सैलरी ऑफ 1750 कंप्यूटेड. कैपिटल गेन इफ आई टॉक अबाउट लैंड तो 30 का सेलिंग प्राइस माइनस ट्रांसफर एक्सपेंस एंड कॉस्ट प्राइस. शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन है तो डायरेक्टली 9 लाख विल बी कमिंग इन द आउटर कॉलम. शॉर्ट टर्म में तो करना ही किया. एंड वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट में लॉस है तो इट विल लैप्स. प्रॉफिट होता तो फ्लैट 30, लॉस विल लैप्स. अदर सोर्सेज में वी हैव डिविडेंड ऑफ 10 लाख, बट इंटरेस्ट का डिडक्शन, ओनली इंटरेस्ट, नो अदर एक्सपेंस, और वो भी रेस्ट्रिक्टेड टू 20% ऑफ योर इनकम रहेगा. तो योर टैक्सेबल इंटरेस्ट जो आएगा आपका वो 8 लाख रुपीज होगा. सेविंग अकाउंट इंटरेस्ट में आपका 22,000 विल गिव यू ग्रॉस टोटल इनकम ऑफ, आप चेक कर सकते हैं, ये 34,72,000. और इसमें 80C का 150 पीपीएफ क्लियरली एंड 80 टीटीए, ये 10,000. अब देखो एज की वजह से 80 टीटीए. हैड द एज बीन अ लिटिल हायर तो टीटीबी बन जाता, बट टीटीबी बन के 22 बनता. ऑल दीज स्मॉल थिंग्स आर बीइंग tested, and which is why culture of crash course is a little unacceptable, but what can be done? 160 का total deduction लेके 33,12,000 you will get as your answer, which is again given in option D. Let us see what are the options given. 33,12,000 clearly visible, आपका option D के अंदर दिया हुआ है. And last question of this case study, what would be the tax payable rounded off by Mr. Rajesh? मतलब हरी के लिए दे ask you क्या इनकम, राजेश के लिए क्या asking टैक्स. एंड अगेन ये जब मैं पहली बार वो DTAA का चैप्टर करते हैं ना हम लोग, इन दैट व्हेन वी सॉल्व टैक्स, नो आई टीच यू दिस टर्म्स, दैट बेसिक टैक्स माइनस रिबेट प्लस सरचार्ज प्लस सेस इफ एप्लीकेबल, सेस इज ऑलवेज एप्लीकेबल, सरचार्ज इफ एप्लीकेबल, वी गेट द टोटल टैक्स लायबिलिटी. एंड हियर दे आर आस्किंग यू टोटल टैक्स पेएबल. So for those who tried to do this question on your own and after lot of effort you are not able to get your answer not matching, here is where terminology is relevant. Total tax liability may be one thing, but has Rajesh already suffered TDS? When Valish purchased virtual digital asset from Rajesh, so can I say Rajesh ka already TDS? In one of our previous questions only we have answered 3,500 ka TDS. So whatever is the tax liability of Rajesh, calculate that liability and subtract this 3,500 so that you will get the amount which is payable पूछा है ना, and your answer will automatically match. जो आपका आंसर अभी तक आ नहीं रहा, टेंशन ले रहे हो क्या, तो ये मैच हो जाएगा. And what is the amount of business loss if any to be carried forward to AY 24-25? Assume that again he has also not opted for 115 BAC. Because he has not opted for 115 BAC, तो शायद आप 80C का भी डिडक्शन ले सकते हो. इंटरेस्ट तो आई थिंक जो ये अर्न कर रहा है, दैट इंटरेस्ट इज अर्न फ्रॉम FD. तो FD में यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू गेट TTA. सीनियर सिटीजन होता है तो TTB मिल जाता, बट ही इज नॉट अ सीनियर सिटीजन. तो इफ यू ऑब्जर्व हिज कंप्यूटेशन, देयर इज बिजनेस का लॉस 525, दिस 50 विल कंप्लीटली बी एब्सॉर्ब्ड ओवर देयर बिकॉज सेट ऑफ हैपेंस बिफोर डिडक्शन. तो वो 525 में से एडजस्ट होकर लॉस 475 बच गया. दिस इज द लॉस टू बी कैरिड फॉरवर्ड बिकॉज दिस लॉस कैन नॉट बी एडजस्टेड अगेंस्ट योर वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट. वो तो एज इट इज रहने वाला. तो इफ यू आर आस्क्ड व्हाट इज द बिजनेस लॉस टू बी कैरिड फॉरवर्ड, 475, तो ये ऑप्शन तो कैंसिल हो जाता है. एंड ऑल द 3 ऑप्शंस आर गिविंग 475. सो वी हैव टू गिव टैक्स पेएबल एंड बिजनेस लॉस कैरिड फॉरवर्ड. ये तो तीनों में ही 475 है. तो बिटवीन B, C एंड D वी हैव टू कंप्यूट टोटल इनकम एंड टैक्स. तो he has got IFOS में FD interest which is completely utilized to adjust your loss. In fact, we accordingly also have balance loss of 475 that we have already determined. So remaining IFOS becomes 0. Only capital gain that he has is virtual digital asset का 1 lakh. Gross total income, even if he is in old regime, इसके सामने he can't take 80C because against an income which is taxable at special rate, virtual digital asset का capital gain, ये भी तो amendment है. In special rates you will not get any deduction, so directly इसके ऊपर flat 30% basic tax you add 4% cess, liability कितना है? Liability is 31,200, and this is where a lot of students are getting stuck. So, sir, 31,200 is not there anywhere in the answer, sir. What to do? He also has TDS, and the question, let me remind you, is asking you tax payable. So, when 31,500 में से you take the TDS का credit which Valish has deducted, you will get 27,700, which is there in your option C. This is how you are going to find out the answers. I'll still be honest, while despite the fact that so many things are tested, it is still a very easy question compared to if you go and check some of the past RTPs. It is still comparatively a very easy question. Okay, that was our case scenario number 1. Let's go to the second case scenario. This second case scenario is terrific. That way I have said कि यार इस बार की RTP के सब क्वेश्चन बहुत इजी है, and I stick to that. 5 questions are there, 4 are ridiculously easy. Ridiculously means you will laugh at them, but only in that one question. Thank God MCQ is maximum 2 marks. So if out of 5 I give 4 marks, I will get 1 mark wala I will answer the easy ones, 1 mark wala, and that 2 mark wala I will leave. Thank God. Okay, so let us see what do we have. First the scenario, first full story, so that we are able to understand what they are trying to ask us. Once that, the first question itself is the toughest one. Okay, we'll talk about it. Let's come to case scenario 2. This is on charitable trust, and in charitable trust, if you are aware, highest number of amendments उसी chapter में हुए. Highest number of amendments have taken place. और क्वेश्चन भी बेस्ड ऑन दोज अमेंडमेंट्स ही है. अगर अनफेयर एडवांटेज प्रोवाइड किया टू स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन, रिमेंबर दैट 115 BBI करके नया स्पेशल रेट ऑफ टैक्स का सेक्शन इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, दैट इज टेस्टेड. इफ एनी मिस यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ फंड्स इज देयर, so that also will go in that special rate. Then when you provide unfair benefit to your trustees, so there is a newly introduced penalty in penalties chapter. That penalty has been tested. There is an amendment under which that your application of income will be allowed only on payment basis, so that has been tested. I hope you remember, only if paid your application will be allowed. That is also. तो बहुत कुछ टेस्ट किया. Let us see what do we have. Helpage is a charitable trust, registered है, with main object falling under the residuary cause any other object of general public utilities. देखो, any other object of general public utility is normally same as relief for the poor, medical, education, everything. Only thing is that if they do commercial activity, they have 2 extra conditions. Condition 1, the commercial activity should be connected with your charity. Condition 2, business receipts should be maximum 20% of your total receipts. Correct है? During 22-23, it received 80 lakhs as voluntary contribution. ये तो income हो गया. It also borrowed 40 lakh on 1/7/22 from Indian Bank to purchase land for construction of an office building from where it can carry out its functions. मतलब 80 lakh का income है plus 40 lakh का loan है, and this loan money will be used to purchase land. Now, do we know that couple of years ago एक और amendment आया था. Charitable trust every year amendments come only. That if you ever use money from loan or corpus, then that will not be treated as application. तो 40 लाख से अगर लैंड खरीदा तो वो एप्लीकेशन नहीं ट्रीट होगा. कॉर्पस मनी से अगर कुछ खरीदा तो दैट इज नॉट एप्लीकेशन. हाँ, बट इन फ्यूचर इफ यू रीपे दिस लोन और इफ यू रिस्टोर द कॉर्पस मनी, तो इन दैट ईयर इट इज गोइंग टू बी allowed. So as of now we have borrowed 40 lakh. If we ever repay, we will get deduction. The trust repaid principal to Indian Bank of 10 lakh only. Matlab we will buy land, in that we will use 40. That much will not be treated as application. But from 40 we have repaid 10 in this year. That means we will allow that as application of income. But we don't know कि total land कितने का. We'll continue reading. No? Supposingly total land is of 100. So 100 में से only 40 is funded, 60 is own pocket. And then in 40 also 10 I have repaid. So we will see the total value of the land so that we can accordingly identify that how much we have to allow, how much we don't have to allow. Trust incurred revenue expenditure of 17 lakh. This is day-to-day application of income. And capital expenditure of 60 lakh towards purchase of land for construction of office building. So now the picture is becoming clear. 60 lakh ka land hai. Land ka cost is 60. Revenue expense I'll deal separately. Out of this 60, 40 is from bank loan. That means can I say 20 is only own sources, own funds. Only own fund wala will be allowed as application of income because borrowed money ka application not counted. But from this 40, 10 you have repaid. So this 10 plus this 20, accordingly from this 60, we will take 30 as our application of income. And plus of course revenue jo diya hai wo 17. In that also there are adjustments. But at least is this clear दैट वॉट एवर यू इन्वोक फ्रॉम और इन्फ्यूज फ्रॉम ओन सोर्सेस वो तो आपको मिल जाएगा, खुद का डाला तो वो मिल जाएगा, लोन का नहीं मिलता है, बट फ्रॉम दैट अगर रीपे किया तो मिलता है. तो दैट मीन्स दिस 20 एंड दिस 10 विल बी ट्रीटेड एज एप्लीकेशन प्लस रेवेन्यू अलग 17. चलो आगे देखो. आउट ऑफ रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ 17 lakhs 15 lakh was paid during 22-23 itself. मतलब ये 17 है ना, इसमें से करंट ईयर में वी हैव पेड ओनली 15, 2 लाख नहीं भरा. आउट ऑफ द रिमेनिंग 2 lakh 1 lakh is paid in April 23 which is next year 23-24 and 1 lakh was paid in January 24. मतलब if I talk about my full year का revenue expense 17 है but 15 is paid. Okay, एक टाइमलाइन प्रॉपरली बना के. ओके, if supposingly this is my financial year, total expense incurred is 17 but I have paid only 15 in 22-23. I have paid only 15. बाकी का जो 1 lakh है, 2 lakh in fact, one was paid in April year and one was paid in January, but anyways paid in the next year. No, तो इस साल तो we have paid only 15 lakh. मतलब अगर हमको ये 17 में से एप्लीकेशन ट्रीट करना है तो we can treat only 15. Is that understood? Is that understood? Sorry, I had a small technical issue, so it got interrupted. हाँ, 17 का जो एक्सपेंस है वो 17 में से करंट ईयर में आपने सिर्फ 15 पे किया है. ये 1 लाख अप्रैल में एंड ये 1 लाख जो आपने जैन में पे किया है, दैट ऑब्वियसली इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी कंसिडर्ड. तो आपको करंट ईयर में लैंड का तो आप समझ गए कि ओनली 30 इज गोइंग टू बी अलाउड. हाउ? 20 ओन सोर्सेज एंड 10 लोन रिपेड. रेवेन्यू के अंदर 17 भले है बट वी विल टेक ओनली 15. करेक्ट है? तो अब तक तो इट इज कमिंग ओनली टू 15. मित्रों, आर यू विथ मी? चलो आगे देखते हैं. ड्यूरिंग द प्रीवियस ईयर 20-23 द ट्रस्ट ऑल्सो रीपेड 3 lakh टूवर्ड्स रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर इनकर्ड ड्यूरिंग 21-22. मतलब लास्ट ईयर 21-22 का कुछ एक्सपेंस था विच वॉज अनपेड लास्ट ईयर, तो उसका 3 lakh ऑल्सो यू हैव पेड ईयर. लास्ट ईयर का एक्सपेंस यू हैव पेड ईयर. करंट ईयर का 15 यू हैव पेड और 17 में से 2 बाद में भरा. मतलब करंट ईयर का 17 में से 15 ओनली यू हैव पेड, 2 बाद में भरा, लेकिन करंट ईयर में आपने लास्ट ईयर का 3 भरा है. ओके, एंड 1 lakh टूवर्ड्स एक्सपेंडिचर इनकर्ड इन 2021. तो पूरी स्टोरी को समझो प्लीज. ओके, ये है हमारा 2021, देन वी हैव 21-22 एंड 22-23 फाइनली अवर करंट ईयर. First we spoke about this year का expense total is 17 but paid only 15, remaining paid in the next year. इन दोनों को इग्नोर करेंगे, this 15 will be taken. लेकिन along with this 15 करंट ईयर में और क्या क्या पेमेंट हुआ? इस साल का 3 लाख करंट ईयर में पेमेंट हुआ है एंड 2021 का भी 1 लाख करंट ईयर में पेमेंट हुआ है. Is that understood? Now what is the amendment? Amendment बोलता है that you will get deduction in the year of payment irrespective of the year to which the liability pertains. मतलब अगर आपका 17 का लायबिलिटी इधर का था लेकिन आपने पेमेंट खाली 15 का किया है तो यू विल गेट डिडक्शन ओनली ऑफ 15. दिस यू विल नॉट गेट इन द करंट ईयर, दिस यू विल गेट नेक्स्ट ईयर. जिस साल आप पैसा दोगे उस साल आपको डिडक्शन मिलेगा इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द ईयर टू विच इट परटेन्स. कौन से साल में इनकर हुआ है, कौन से साल में अक्रूवल हुआ है. अक्रूवल ईयर और इनकरिंग ईयर इज इररिलेवेंट, पेमेंट ईयर इज रिलेवेंट. करेक्ट है? करेक्ट है? तो दिस 15 is paid in the current year, only this will be allowed, ये दोनों not allowed. Is that clear? But sir, now the question is, this 3 lakh of 21-22 and this 1 lakh of 20-21, they also accrued in the past, but paid now. Going by the amendment, we will not see the year of accrual, we will see the year of payment. So logically speaking, ये 3 लाख और ये 1 लाख current year payment है, तो we should get deduction. Just like this year का 2 lakh we are not giving right now, फ्यूचर में पे किया तो फ्यूचर में we will give. तो पास्ट ईयर का what you are paying now वो मिलना चाहिए. Yes or no? Yes or no? तो some people say that sir समझ गया 15 plus 3 plus 1 ये टोटल मिल जाएगा और जो करंट ईयर के 17 में से बाद में भरा है वो अगले साल मिल जाएगा. बट सम पीपल हैव अ काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट. सम पीपल से सर ये अमेंडमेंट ऑफ पेमेंट बेसिस तो अभी आया ना सर. द अमेंडमेंट ऑफ पेमेंट बेसिस हैज कम नाउ, एंड जो अमेंडमेंट ऑफ पेमेंट बेसिस अभी आया है तो ये सिर्फ 15 को अप्लाई करेगा, मतलब 17 को अप्लाई करेगा. 2 लाख वी विल गेट डिडक्शन इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर. ये जो 3 लाख 21-22 का है एंड ये जो 1 लाख 2021 का है, दोज ईयर्स दैट अमेंडमेंट वाज नॉट देयर. और वो सालों में अगर वो अमेंडमेंट नहीं था तो मतलब ये 3 लाख का और ये 1 लाख का, यहां पे हमने 1 लाख का और यहां पे हमने 3 लाख का डिडक्शन ले लिया है. तो 1 लाख एंड 3 लाख यू कैंसल फ्रॉम द करंट ईयर, यू टेक ओनली 15. मतलब we have an amendment that deduction will be on payment basis irrespective of the year of liability. तो current year का 17 का liability but we pay only 15, we get deduction only of 15, remaining 2 lakh we take next year. But past year का जो liability है that we are paying now, that sir we must have already taken because amendment has come now. Here is where institute has played the game, and the game is this. ये जो amendment आया ना कि payment basis deduction मिलेगा, go check the Finance Act of 22. Go also check the explanatory memorandum. It is clearly stated that this payment basis wala amendment will apply with effect from assessment year 22-23. आया किसमें? Budget of 22. देखो, budget of 22 must be announced somewhere here in February, just before the year is about to get over. वो यहां पर कहीं पर अनाउंस हुआ होगा February के मंथ में. When in the month of February year in 2022 the budget was being announced, तो 21-22 तो चल रहा था और गवर्नमेंट बोलती है पेमेंट बेसिस डिडक्शन देना है, तो इमीडिएटली इस साल से उन्होंने अप्लाई किया है. गो चेक दैट दिस अमेंडमेंट ऑफ पेमेंट बेसिस इज एप्लीकेबल फ्रॉम AY 22-23. तो ऑफ कोर्स अपना जो करंट ईयर है AY 23-24 उसमें तो हमको 2 लाख नहीं मिलेगा बिकॉज वी हैव नॉट पेड 15 मिलेगा. एंड ये वाला जो 3 लाख है ना, इसका डिडक्शन भी हमको 21-22 में नहीं मिला बिकॉज दिस पेमेंट बेसिस अमेंडमेंट इज एप्लीकेबल देयर ऑल्सो. जाके चेक करो बजट, दिस अमेंडमेंट इज एप्लीकेबल देयर ऑल्सो. मतलब ये जो लास्ट ईयर गया है दैट ईयर ऑल्सो पेमेंट बेसिस वाला विल बी एप्लीकेबल, एंड वी डिड नॉट पे लास्ट ईयर, वी पेड इन द करंट ईयर, तो ये हमको करंट ईयर में मिलेगा. और ये जो 1 लाख है इसके ऊपर पेमेंट बेसिस इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल, तो ये तो अक्रूवल बेसिस में 2021 में हमने ले लिया. अब इफेक्टिवली एंड अकॉर्डिंगली अगर मैं अमाउंट्स को कुछ 4 पार्ट में डिवाइड कर लूं, 15 लाख, 1 लाख, 1 लाख, ये 17 आपके करंट ईयर का लायबिलिटी है. पेमेंट बेसिस वी विल सी करंट ईयर का लायबिलिटी है. ये 22-23 का लायबिलिटी है, आउट ऑफ विच 15 यू हैव पेड इन द करंट ईयर एंड 2 लाख यू आर पेइंग इन द नेक्स्ट ईयर. फिर 21-22 का एक लायबिलिटी है 3 लाख का, ये लास्ट ईयर का लायबिलिटी है, यू हैव पेड इन द करंट ईयर. एंड 2021 का ये लायबिलिटी है. दिस इज लायबिलिटी ऑफ 22-23, this is liability of 21-22, and this is liability of 2021. इस साल you paid this and also liability of the current year, ये allowed है. This year you have not paid both these amounts, तो ये दोनों not allowed. ये वाले साल में भी वो amendment applicable है. So though the year of liability was 21-22, AY 22-23, but the amendment is applicable and thus इसका deduction भी आपको 21-22 में नहीं मिला, इसका डिडक्शन भी आपको यहां पे मिलेगा. इन द करंट ईयर यू विल गेट दिस 3 लाख का डिडक्शन. इन द करंट ईयर यू विल गेट दिस 3 लाख का डिडक्शन. एंड इसके ऊपर वो अमेंडमेंट एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, मतलब ये तो आपको 2021 में मिल गया, तो इन द करंट ईयर ये 1 लाख नहीं आएगा. इफेक्टिवली करंट ईयर का 17 में से 15 2 विल नॉट बी टेकन. 21-22 का 3 लाख because that is paid in the current year, so last year due basis we did not give that deduction, amendment is retrospectively applicable last year also. And तीसरा 2021 का 1 lakh that will not be allowed because that was already allowed in 2021. Effectively revenue expenditure में ये 15 and ये 3, this 15 of current year which we have paid ignoring the 2 unpaid and 3 of the last year which we have paid in the current year, क्योंकि last year disallowed, current year allowed, but 2021 में 1 lakh was not disallowed because that amendment is not applicable. Accordingly आपका revenue expense में 18 lakh का deduction will be taken. तो कैपिटल में कहना इसे 30 आ गया. आप by this time I think आप शायद लैंड में भूल भी गए हो कि 60 का लैंड था बट 40 was funded, तो 20 ओन सोर्स एंड 10 का रीपेमेंट. रेवेन्यू में आपका 18 आ गया. दिस इज योर एप्लीकेशन ऑफ इनकम सो फार. आप समझे? द मेन ट्रिक वॉज अबाउट दिस 3 lakh. This 2 lakh will not be allowed in the current year. We all know it is an amendment. This 1 lakh has already been allowed in the past year. We all know it is an amendment. Main trick was about this 3 lakh. This is a retrospective amendment. तो last year भी applicable होगा और इसलिए last year this was disallowed. तो current year में we are taking this deduction. इसलिए 15 plus 3 18 will be your current year का deduction. Further, the trust also received 30 lakh by way of corpus donation during 22-23, out of which it deposited 25 lakh in post office saving bank account. And the balance in post office saving bank account is 32. मतलब corpus मिला 30 लेकिन deposited only 25, तो 5 lakh का misutilization has taken place. 5 lakh का corpus has been misutilized. It has not been placed in 11 subsection 5 का modes. तो वो आपका जो maximum rate का 115 BBI का 30% apply करने के लिए this 5 lakh will be used. The trust also withdrew 5 lakh from post office saving bank account and applied towards purchase of land for construction. आपको ये ओन सोर्सेस का लैंड का 20 याद है? ओन सोर्सेस का लैंड का 20, 40 वाज फंडेड आउट ऑफ विच रिपेमेंट 10 वी आर टेकिंग, 20 वाज ओन सोर्सेस जिसमें से एप्लीकेशन लिया, लेकिन वो 20 में से 5 लाख, 5 वी हैव टू माइनस 5 नाउ, 5 हैज बीन टेकन फ्रॉम कॉर्पस का मनी. देखो बोला है ट्रस्ट विड्रू 5 लाख फ्रॉम दिस अकाउंट फॉर परचेस ऑफ लैंड. मतलब अगर मैं लैंड का फिर एक बार डिवीजन बनाऊं, लैंड टोटल 60, उसमें से 40 इज फ्रॉम लोन, 5 इज फ्रॉम कॉर्पस एंड बाकी का बचा 15 इज ओन सोर्सेस. ये अलाउड, इसमें से 10 रीपेड अलाउड, कॉर्पस नॉट अलाउड एंड रिमेनिंग लोन नॉट अलाउड. तो यू कैन से जो 30 लिया था उसमें से 5 इज फ्रॉम कॉर्पस, तो वी कैन सब्ट्रैक्ट दैट अकॉर्डिंगली. वही 25, यहां पे भी 15 एंड 10 25 ओनली, और 30 में से यू सब्ट्रैक्ट द कॉर्पस यूज्ड फॉर लैंड, वन एंड द सेम थिंग. इज दैट क्लियर? इज दैट क्लियर? ओके, सो 5 lakh has been used from corpus. तो एक तो 5 lakh का corpus is misutilized plus 5 lakh का corpus is used to take land. तो that we have already subtracted. Misutilization हम लोग देखेंगे बाद में. The trust has donated to EduAid, another trust registered under 12AB with main objective of providing education to poor, 12 lakh out of current year income. तो can I say donation out of current year income 12 lakh हमको लेना पड़ेगा? Yes or no? तो capital में we will make it 25 now क्योंकि corpus we have subtracted. तो ये तो बन जाएगा 25, अर्लियर इट वाज 30. रेवेन्यू में वी हैव 18 एंड डोनेशन टू अदर ट्रस्ट विच इज अ रजिस्टर्ड ट्रस्ट दैट बिकम्स 12. दैट्स योर टोटल एप्लीकेशन ऑफ इनकम. द ट्रस्ट हैज अप्लाइड 2 lakh आउट ऑफ इट्स करंट ईयर इनकम फॉर मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ ब्रदर ऑफ ट्रस्टी हु मेट विद एन एक्सीडेंट. मतलब कैन आई से बेनिफिट ऑफ स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन. इस पे आपका 115 BBI का फ्लैट 30% टैक्स भी लगेगा और आपके ऊपर 100% पेनल्टी भी लगेगा. because they are testing all the amendments. पेनल्टी में भी there has been an amendment, and with these words they are now asking you to go and check the most appropriate answer. 7 8 9 10 11 5 questions जैसा कि मैंने आपको पहले बोला था. तो what would be the application of the trust for 22-23 excluding the unconditional accumulation of 15%. देखो voluntary contribution 80 lakhs है, उसमें से 15% is to exempt, balance 85 में से we give deduction of application. तो there how much application you are going to take? Assume that it has fulfilled all other conditions which are stipulated, and here is our calculation. And I'll tell you, most people are finding it difficult. I repeat, or I change my statement, most faculties are also finding it difficult because ये तो normally क्या होता है, RTP जिस दिन आता है ना, RTP is released, शाम को दे release it. But this is one thing which and मेरा कभी भी ऐसा नहीं रहता that I am not fighting a race with anyone, or I am not in a rat race that he has released today, so I will also release today itself. I release things as per my convenience and as per my availability of time. Okay, these are free lectures. आप लोग थैंक यू भी नहीं लिखते हो बहुत सारे लोग, तो ये तो पता नहीं फॉर हाउ लॉन्ग ये कंटिन्यू होगा. मतलब एटलीस्ट कितना थैंकलेस जॉब है एज अ टीचर का, दैट पीपल आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन कमेंटिंग थैंक यू. एक्चुअली व्हाट यू शुड डू, लाइक ठोक दो, लाइक ठोक दो, लाइक ठोक दो. यू शुड हिट लाइक कमेंट, ऐसा करना चाहिए, लेकिन आप वो भी नहीं करते हो. ओके, तो आई एम नॉट इन एनी रेट रेस. मैं अपने कन्वीनियंस के हिसाब से आई डू थिंग्स. यू नेवर सी मी रिलीजिंग आरटीपी ऑन द सेम डे, और मेरे को टाइम मिला, आई स्टार्टेड सॉल्विंग इट. बट आई डिड ऑब्जर्व दैट all those who released the RTP on the very first day, so excited as if it is a race, you know, you have to come first. None of them have actually released it, because this is one place where a lot of people are finding things difficult. So effectively we realize that we have already found capital ka kitna, revenue ka kitna, and this I think total is coming to 55 lakh rupees, which is given in our option B. लेकिन what I have solved, let me show you that also. देखो capital में दिखाता हूँ. 60 का purchase price of land, but out of that 40 is funded, so we subtract. But 10 we have repaid, so we have to take, and 5 का corpus, so 25 from capital. Revenue में 17 minus 2 because current year you paid only 15. Donation to other trust का 12, and previous year 21-22 का जो payment basis deduction है, that 3 lakh rupees, because payment basis deduction is applicable in this AY 22-23 also. So last year it got disallowed and this year it will be allowed. But 2021 ka it got allowed in that year only. So that 3 lakh also will be taken here, and accordingly we will get 55 lakh as our answer, which is in our option B. Yehi wo total, this 55 is matching also. Just that revenue ka 15 plus 3 is merged out here. So that is our first, the toughest question. And the main reason for this being difficult and people ka answer not matching is this 3 lakh ka figure, because the effective date of amendment is basically being tested out here. Okay. If the trust does not get its account audited before the specified date under section 44AB, what will be the consequence? Dekho, once you do failure in duties like filing ROI on time or audit, then you are going to lose your benefit. So no deduction will be allowed if trust fails to get its account audited. Capital expenditure on account of purchase of land or office building will not be allowed. Amount donated will not be allowed. Both capital expenditure on account of purchase land and amount donated is not going to be allowed. Capital expenditure will not be allowed. Donation to other trust will not be allowed. ये क्रॉस मारा बाबा, ये राइट आंसर है. कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर विल नॉट बी अलाउड. डोनेशन टू अदर ट्रस्ट विल नॉट बी अलाउड. इफ यू नो देयर इज वन मोर अमेंडमेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू विच हमने ये सेक्शन 13 जो विड्रॉल ऑफ एग्जेम्पशन है ना, विड्रॉल ऑफ एग्जेम्पशन, वहां पे ये अमेंडमेंट किया था. विड्रॉल ऑफ एग्जेम्पशन के अंदर इफ बाय चांस अ ट्रस्ट फाइल्स रिटर्न लेट या फेल्स टू गेट ऑडिट डन, तो इट विल लूज एग्जेम्पशन. इट विल पे टैक्स, बट व्हाइल इट विल पे टैक्स इट विल गेट डिडक्शन ऑफ रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंस. वो मिलेगा रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंस. व्हाट विल इट नॉट गेट? डोनेशन टू अदर ट्रस्ट इट विल नॉट गेट. It will not get deduction of any capital expenditure. वो सब नहीं मिलेगा. Correct? But revenue expenditure it will get. So no deduction is wrong. Okay? Only capital expenditure, yeah, only amount donated wrong. Capital expenditure and amount donated to other trust is not going to be allowed. Both will not be allowed. So यहाँ पे theory question है, so no solution. Directly D. What is the income chargeable under 115 BBI? This is also amendment. पूरा amendment based question है. Flat 30%. Any kind of misutilization. दो मिसयूटिलाइजेशन हुआ इफ यू ऑब्जर्व केयरफुली. वन, यू रिसीव कॉर्पस ऑफ 30 बट डिपॉजिट ओनली 25, तो 5 लाख फ्रॉम कॉर्पस. एंड सेकंड, ब्रदर के बेनिफिट के लिए यू यूज 2, तो 7 लाख इज द अमाउंट ऑफ मिसयूटिलाइजेशन एंड 7 लाख इज देयर फॉर दैट अमाउंट. ब्रदर का 2 लाख प्लस कॉर्पस का 5 लाख, 7 लाख इज गोइंग टू बी द अमाउंट दैट इज गोइंग टू बी टैक्सेबल अंडर 115 BBI एट 30%. बट जो पेनल्टी का सेक्शन आया ना, दैट इज ओनली फॉर मनी यूज्ड फॉर स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन. फर्स्ट टाइम किया तो 100% पेनल्टी, सेकेंड टाइम रिपीट किया तो 200%. दैट हैज कम ओनली फॉर बेनिफिट ऑफ स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन. दैट पेनल्टी वाला पार्ट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल फॉर दिस कॉर्पस वाला पार्ट. सो इफ वी आर आस्क्ड द क्वांटम ऑफ पेनल्टी, assume that it is happening for the first time, 100% penalty only on that brother wala violation, and brother wala violation is only rupees 2 lakh. 100% only on that brother wala violation, so only 2 lakh ka penalty is going to be applied. That corpus ka 5 lakh does not fall in penalty. That penalty came only for benefit of specified person. And finally, assume for the purpose of this MCQ, only for this, that trust has receipt of 22 lakh from trade, commerce and business while advancing general public utility. What will be the tax consequence? देखो, that way any trust can have business का income, but advancement पे there is a restriction that it should not be exceeding 20% of its total receipts. So what are the receipts? It has got 80 lakh voluntary contribution, 30 lakh corpus. Now when we say total receipts, okay, when we say total receipts, when we are saying total receipts, तो obviously उस total receipts के अंदर हमको ये 22 भी लेना पड़ेगा ना. See, it is not 20% of donations. अगर ऐसा बोला होता ना 20% of, जैसे कि in that 115 BBC anonymous donation, what is written? 5% of total donation or 1 lakh whichever is higher. But यहाँ पे बोला 20% of total receipts. तो this is also receipts only, no? So 80 का normal donation, 30 का corpus and 22 का, so that comes to about 132, and जिसके 20% के well within limit है. If we check 80 plus 30 corpus plus 22 business receipts, if you take 20% of that, so this 22 is within the limit, and because it is within the limit, there will be no consequence on the trust. लिमिट के अंदर होएगा तो किस बात का कॉन्सिक्वेंस? बस खाली कुछ लोग मिस्टेक ये कर रहे हैं, they are thinking कि sir we have to apply 20% on this. No, why? This is not your receipt or what? So 20% of total receipt लिखा है. Go check section 2 clause 15 definition of charitable purpose. Advancement में they have said 20% of total receipts and anonymous donation में कुछ और लिखा है. तो आप इस टोटल के ऊपर in any case answer will not change क्योंकि इस पे भी लेते तो भी within 20% आता. Equal to is allowed. Equal to आता. लेकिन टोटल पे तो लोगे तो it is within the limit only. तो registration will be cancelled. Wrong. Registration will not be cancelled but denied exemption. Wrong. Denied exemption. Wrong. हमने देख ही लिया. D is the answer. Neither registration will be cancelled nor it would be denied exemption as there is no violation as we have very clearly identified. D is going to be our answer. So if you observe, the other four were ridiculously easy. I told you, pura energy and effort was concentrated on this one application of income wala part. In that main discussion on that 3 lakh rupees wala part. Now the remaining four are one by one individual isolated MCQs. There is no story. This is the question and here only we have the answer. Adesh, a resident Indian, purchased an apartment in Ashiana Gardens, a gated housing complex from Ashiana Constructions Limited, an Indian company, for 48 lakhs. In addition, he paid 1 lakh for club membership and 1 lakh for car parking. So can I say total becomes 50? In that TDS ka section, it is clearly clarified 194 IE that consideration will be all inclusive. If there was anything extra, everything will be included. 50. Stamp duty value of the apartment is 49 lakh 80. Is Adesh liable to deduct TDS, and if so, how much? So again, tested on an amendment. There is an amendment in 194 IE which says TDS will come on actual consideration or stamp duty value, whichever is higher. Stamp duty value is 4980. Okay. Actual, please don't make the mistake of taking 48. It is 50. We have to take on, and 50 is meeting the threshold. And in 194 IE, equal to is also covered. Anybody who has attended my full course or crash course knows that how much I have put pressure on you in learning equal to 50 is covered. Whichever is higher, 50 hai, iske andar 1 lakh, both you have to include, all inclusive, equal to 51%, and therefore 1% of 50 lakh, 50,000 TDS will be applicable. So no TDS is wrong. No TDS is wrong. 49,800 is wrong. Agar 49,800 hai, so there will be no TDS. Because it is not crossing the threshold only. For threshold, it has to be equal to 50 lakhs. So 49,800 can never be the answer. And yes, Adesh is liable to deduct. Actual consideration is 48 plus 1 plus 150. SDV is 49.8. This is whichever is higher. Uska 1%, 50,000, and therefore D is going to be your answer. Next. Again, on an amendment. So most MCQs are on an amendment. If you know TDS mein there is a new section. Whenever you are providing any benefit or perquisite in course of business or profession. Any benefit or perquisite provided in course of business or profession. So for the receiver it will be taxable and there will be TDS. 194R, correct? So A Limited is a pharmaceutical company in which public are interested. It issued bonus to all its shareholders and company gives free samples of medicine to medical practitioners. See, giving bonus is not any benefit or perquisite that we have provided and receiver has got benefit. Shareholders are owners. So here 194R cannot apply. But on free samples of medicine to practitioners, this is like a benefit given by pharmaceutical companies. So on this, obviously, TDS is going to be applicable. Not on the shareholder, but on the practitioners. B Limited is trading in electronic goods and offers discount to customers from listed price. And also provides free air ticket to Bangkok on dealer on achieving sales target. Now again, customer ko if we are giving discount, it's in the policy of trade. Are understand, if I sell anything for 15,000 but I give you 1,000 rupees ka discount, that means I have charged you 14,000. I have not provided you any benefit. Your cost is reduced now already. Okay. So customers ke liye there will be no TDS, but to agent that we are providing benefit, obviously there will be TDS. So are A Limited and B Limited required to deduct TDS, and if so, in respect of which transaction? Assume everything took place after 1st July, because as we are aware, the section is enacted later. So we are clear. A Limited not for shareholders but for practitioners, and B Limited not for customers because that is a normal discount but only for agents. So A Limited not for shareholder but for practitioners, and B Limited not for the customer discount but for agent. We just have to see. I have already written, but we'll see. A is required to deduct tax on issue of bonus shares. Here only it is wrong. A is required to deduct tax on free samples but not on bonus shares. Till here it is right. B is required to deduct tax on sales discount. No, not on discount. हमको मालूम है C is the answer. No, very smart. A is required to deduct tax on free samples but not on bonus shares. This is right. B is required to deduct tax on air tickets, free air tickets to dealers but not on customers. And as we have decided, मैंने यहाँ पे solve करके लिखा है, मतलब we knew that C में ही answer. फिर भी देख लेते हैं. A is required to deduct TDS on medicine but not on bonus shares till year. This is right. B is not required to deduct TDS on discount to customers and to dealers. नहीं, dealers का it has to deduct. So effectively and finally C only becomes our answer. चलिए, Mr. Akash filed, ये भी amendment है. Amendment में we have got the concept of updated return. In updated return, देखो normally there is time limit to pass an order. Time limit given in 153. Regular assessment order का last date, reassessment order का last date. But when you file an updated return, उसका एक amendment आया ना. So normally the time limit to pass a scrutiny order is 9 months from the end of the relevant assessment year, something like that. But if you file an updated return, then 9 months from the end of the year in which the updated return is filed. So that amendment is being tested. Mr. Akash filed original return of income under 139(1) for AY 22-23 and 23-24 both years. 22-23 का obviously जुलाई में 22 में होगा and 23-24 का जुलाई 23 में होगा obviously. Okay. He however filed an updated return under 139(8)(a) for AY 22-23. मतलब AY 22-23 का this return is cancelled and he has filed updated return on 31st October. What is the time limit for completion of assessment under 143(3) for AY 22-23 and 23? देखो, AY 22-23 का original return is cancelled, we have to take from here. And 23-24 का तो there is only one return. There is no updated return, तो directly 9 months from the end of the relevant assessment year. तो यहाँ से if you check 9 months तो 31st December आता है. And when there is updated return then from this year, तो coincidentally this is also 23-24, this is also 22-24. मैं solve किया हुआ आपको show करता हूँ. AY 23-24, AY 22-23. Updated ROI is 31st October. Original return ignore. This is year of filing return. From year 9 months we get 31st December. And for the next year there is only this return. There is only this return. What is the relevant assessment year? You don't have to check the return date. It is 9 months from the end of the relevant assessment year. From year itself you have to calculate 9 months and coincidentally it is coming to the same date and both answers are 31st December and accordingly your answer will be 31st December in both cases. 31st December will be applicable in both cases. That is going to be your answer. And this brings us to the last MCQ on tax calculation. Must MCQ. Okay. Mr. Ram, a resident individual age 40 years, has total income of 4 crore 15 lakhs for AY 23-24, which comprises of salary income computed of 1 crore 80. Salary कितना? 180. Long term capital gain 112 मतलब 20% 60 lakh. Long term capital gain 45 lakh 112 है मतलब 10% of 44 lakhs. 1 lakh के ऊपर नहीं, बैलेंस के ऊपर 10%. 111 का 1 crore है. This is 15%. Dividend of 10 lakh and interest income of 20 lakh. What would be the tax liability assuming that he does not opt for 115 BSE? मतलब old regime के हिसाब से we have to calculate. Basic tax तो देखो क्या होएगा. 415 has to be split. LTCG 112, LTCG 112A, STCG 111A and other income. After basic tax there is no rebate. Obviously this is a case of surcharge. At 415 we invoke 25% between 2 crore and 5 crore. But now check. From this 415 if we remove the special incomes, what are our special incomes? 60 lakhs, 45 lakhs, that's 1 crore 5, 2 crore 5 and dividend of 10 lakhs. So that is 2 crore 15 lakhs. If from 415 you remove 215, that means you are left with only 2 crore. Matlab my income is exceeding 2 crore only because of these special incomes and consequently 25% का surcharge नहीं आएगा. Surcharge highest 15 रहेगा. वैसे on these incomes तो anyways it would have been 15 only, but other income पे भी we will apply only 15% surcharge. So how will we calculate tax? ये तो पूरा solve करके you will have to do NTTI of 415. इसके अंदर 112 वाला LTCG 60 lakh का 20% 12 lakh, 112A का 10% after 1 lakh. So 45 lakh is the income, but we take 10% of 44, so we get 440. 111A का 1 crore का 15% 15 lakh. Other income is 210, but it includes dividend. तो डिविडेंड निकाल के then it comes to equal to 2 crore. It is not more than 2 crore. अगर डिविडेंड नहीं होता in this income would have been directly 2 crore 10 without dividend. समझ लो dividend was not there and only interest and salary was 210. Then here we would have applied 25%. But here तो dividend is 10 lakh. So if we remove dividend then our other income comes only to 2 crore. equal to 2 crore, not exceeding 2 crore, and thus everything will go in 15%. So if you apply the slabs as per old regime, 2 crore 10 lakh ka hai, so you have to apply excess over 10 lakh ka 30% plus 1 lakh 12,500. So 2 crore ka 30% 60 lakh plus 1 lakh 12,500 old regime. So 61 lakh 12,500. When you add all of them, you will get this as your basic tax. Surcharge will be only 15% because your income is exceeding 2 crore due to special incomes. So only 15%. This is also an amendment. Long-term capital gain is also now covered here. Long-term capital gain. Till last year there were 4 special incomes: 111A, 112A, FII, capital gain and dividend. Now LTCG, any LTCG. If it exceeds because of LTCG, we will take only 15% and HEC of 4%. If you do, you will get 1 crore 10 lakh 65,990. On your own, if you solve once, you will get it 1 crore 10 lakh 65,990. That is our option C. And these are your MCQs of your May 2023 RTP. MCQ वाले क्वेश्चंस के अंदर ना डिस्कशन करना पड़ता है बिकॉज देयर आर नो सॉल्यूशंस. बट जो सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस है ना, क्वेश्चन 16 ऑनवर्ड्स अभी सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन है. ओके, क्योंकि सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन है तो आंसर्स आर ऑलरेडी प्रिंटेड. स्टिल आई विल डिस्कस, हर एक क्वेश्चन को डिस्कस कर लेंगे ताकि आपको पता रहे कि भाई कौन से क्वेश्चन में व्हाट इशू और व्हाट कॉन्सेप्ट हैज बीन टेस्टेड. ठीक है, तो व्हाट वी विल डू इज, फॉर सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस वी विल बी साइमल्टेनियसली फ्लिपिंग थ्रू द क्वेश्चन एंड द आंसर. ये तो आपके एमसीक्यू के क्वेश्चंस है. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 16, मैं फटाफट डिस्कस कर रहा हूं क्वेश्चन. नाउ आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू स्पेंड टाइम इन रीडिंग द फुल क्वेश्चन एंड देन एक्सप्लेनिंग टू यू. ये एक पार्टनरशिप फर्म है. ये केस लॉ लेक्चर जिसने ऑल दोज हु हैव अटेंडेड द केस लॉ लेक्चर नो आर अवेयर ऑफ दिस कि देयर वाज अ केस लॉ एम वेंकटेश्वर राव करके. पार्टनरशिप फर्म को पैसा मिला फ्रॉम पार्टनर. ओके, 50 lakh received from partner. So firm said that we got it from partner. AO said explain where your partner got it from. Firm said sir I cannot explain that, you have to ask the partner. मुझे कहां से मिला पार्टनर से, पार्टनर को कहां से मिला उसको पूछो. I don't know where the partner got it from. Ask the partner where he got it from. And if the firm was not able to explain, so it was treated as unexplained cash credit, and unexplained cash credit का tax treatment is 60 plus surcharge plus cess 78% का tax. But the court case was in the favor of the assessee that firm cannot explain source of partner. Firm can explain own source which is partner, but where partner got it from we can't explain. That case law was in favor of assessee, and now there is an amendment in income tax law which overrules that case law. Case law के lecture में I made you cancel that. Overrules that case law, and it is decided and declared that the firm has to explain the source of the partner also. So firm is saying I got from partner, but where partner got it from you have to explain. And if you are unable to explain, then 78% is going to be your tax liability. Firm has to explain the source in the hands of the partner. तो आपका वो कैश क्रेडिट का सेक्शन अप्लाई हो जाएगा. Okay, this question 17 is also on an overruled case law. Question 16, पहले there was a case law in favor of assessee. It is overruled by an amendment, and that amendment का question they are asking. Question 17 का भी same है. There is a company which has outstanding interest of 3.5 crore which is payable to a public financial institution. So according to 43B, it will be allowed only on payment basis. अगर outstanding interest को convert कर लिया into another loan, that is not treated as payment. वो payment नहीं है, so it will still not be. वो payment नहीं है, तो it will still not be allowed. लेकिन एक कंपनी था some Aqua Technologies करके, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला that that company has not converted outstanding interest into another loan. उसने अपने lender को डिबेंचर इशू कर दिया. Means we have given an asset called debenture. Okay, it issued debentures and treated it as repayment, and Supreme Court allowed that as repayment and gave deduction as 43B. Allow किया उसको. So that case law was again in the favor of the assessee like the last case. And one more amendment in our, तो amendment are तो hobbies no आंटी का. तो one more amendment. Do we know कि 43B में amendment आया that conversion of unpaid interest into any loan or debenture will not be treated as payment. So if you convert into debentures, it will not be treated as payment, and therefore the deduction will not be allowed. If the interest, unpaid interest, is converted into payment, it is not going to be allowed as a deduction. It is converted into any loan, borrowing or any debenture, it shall not be deemed to be payment. We are overruling the Supreme Court judgment that was recently announced. So both questions 16 and 17 are basically on amendments, two amendments. Both of them were earlier case laws in favor of assessee, and we are cancelling those case laws in both cases. Case 1, firm has to explain source of partner, otherwise unexplained cash credit section लगेगा. Case 2, conversion of outstanding loan into debentures. Court said it is treated as payment, but they decided it is. By changing the law, it is not going to be treated as payment. चलिए, next. Examine whether following persons are required to file return of income for AY 23-24. तो coincidentally again becomes an amendment. एक वो नया जो circular notification आया है under which you are required to file your return compulsorily. एक एक करके. Mr. Albert, age 31 years, whose turnover from business is 70 lakhs and total income is 2 lakh. This is first year of business, no other business, nothing else. Income is below basic exemption, but business का turnover है ना 70 lakh. So do we know the amendment under which if your business का turnover exceeds that threshold, so you will have to compulsorily file your return. So Mr. Albert के लिए return filing is going to be compulsory. Mr. as per the latest circular, his turnover is 70 lakhs, and because his turnover is 70 lakh, which is exceeding the threshold of 60 lakh, accordingly filing of return is going to be compulsory. Next, Ashish is 42 years. Receipt from profession is 5 lakh. तो business का जो 60 lakh का limit रखा है, profession के लिए 10 lakh ही रखा है. And profit is 2 lakh 50 computed, but in addition he has got interest of 4 lakh and fixed deposit of 50. What a stupid question. So effectively the total income becomes 4 plus 250, 650 plus 57. 7 lakh का अगर income है before deductions, GTI before 54 series, तो obviously Ashish has to file return. क्या stupid question they are asking. I already told you कि इस बार का RTP कुछ ज्यादा ही easy उन्होंने निकाला है. भगवान पेपर भी ऐसा ही निकालना. ओके, ऑब्वियसली 7 लाख है तो फाइल करना है. यहां पे वी आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन द ग्रॉस रिसीट्स. नो, देखो वो जो नया सर्कुलर आया है इज ऑलरेडी नॉट कवर्ड उन लोगों के लिए आया जो पहले से ही कवर है, जिसका इनकम ही बेसिक एग्जेम्पशन क्रॉस हो गया, उसका तो टॉपिक ही खत्म हो गया ना. दे तो हैव टू फाइल ओनली. नो यार, एबीसी लॉ फर्म, once you are a firm, to hell with your receipts, to hell with your electricity bills, to hell with your turnover, to hell with everything. Every company, every firm, every company, every firm, compulsory. Private limited company incurring expenditure of 95,000. Sir, electricity less than 1 lakh. अरे माथा तुम्हारा less than 1 lakh. Firm and company has to always file return. Firm and company has to always file return, irrespective of their electricity bill or turnover. It's a firm, it is required to file, and it is a company, it is required to file. Stupid question they are asking. Exam में भी पूछना please. नहीं, stupid question नहीं है. It's a good question. Very good question. Very difficult. Please ask in exam. No, please ask in exam. Very difficult question. Baba, I'm not able to answer only. Please ask this in exam also so that I lose marks. #tag life. समझा? चलो. Mr. Valish, age 58 years, who has deposited 50 lakh in his saving account. खत्म हो गया. Either story is over. Do we know that inside that circular there is one more thing? Deposit of 50 lakh or more in saving account. करंट अकाउंट में इट इज मोर देन 1 करोड़, लेकिन सेविंग अकाउंट में इट इज इक्वल टू और मोर देन 50 लाख. हो गया, खत्म. नाउ ही रिसीव्ड इट एज गिफ्ट. गिफ्ट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल बिकॉज इट इज रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम सन. ही यूज्ड द सेम टू परचेज अ फ्लैट. इररिलेवेंट. बैलेंस मनी ट्रांसफर टू एफडी. डज नॉट मेंटेन एनी अदर बैंक अकाउंट. डज नॉट हैव एनी अदर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम. टू हेल विद एवरीथिंग. डिपॉजिटेड 50 लाख इन सेविंग अकाउंट. रिटर्न फाइलिंग इज compulsory as per that latest circular. So effectively they have asked us a few cases, but we realized that for all of them ये 50 लाख का आंसर इतना लंबा पैराग्राफ दे के लास्ट में 50 लाख की वजह से रिटर्न फाइलिंग इज गोइंग टू बी कंपल्सरी. टॉपिक इज ओवर. नेक्स्ट. ओके, नाउ business premises of Arjun was searched on 17th April 22. An assessing officer has in his possession documents revealing information pertaining to shares purchased in 16-17 for 23 lakh and 17-18 for 25 lakhs. Now, do we know that in case of search, we can do assessment 3 years or 10 years? Income escaping assessment 3 years or 10 years. If the income escaping assessment has been converted into any asset, which asset? Immovable property, shares and securities, loans and advances, deposit in a bank account, or transactions relating to an event, and the total is 50 lakh or more, 50 lakh or more, then in that case we can take 10 years. Otherwise it is going to be 3 years only. Otherwise it is going to be 3 years. So can assessing officer issue notice because the total is only 48 lakh and 3 years have already expired? Then it is not going to be allowed. Would your answer change if the shares in 16-17 were for 30 lakhs? So if this were 30, so 30 plus 25 will become 55. Then it will be allowed because 10 years ka time limit is going to be allowed available. So if it is 48 ka total not touching 50, only 3 years का time limit is applicable, तो not allowed. But when it becomes 55, then 10 years का time limit is available, then it is going to be allowed. And what will be your answer? If AO has possession documents relating to expenditure of 52 lakh for marriage of daughter. हाँ, तो that is also covered. No, वो भी एक amendment हुआ है. This is also an amendment that it can be any of the 4 assets or expenditure relating to an occasion or event. If the total is 50 lakh or more, then 10 years will be covered. So accordingly, in this case also we are going to cover 10 years. तो जो first वाला case है, in the first वाला case, due to expiry of 3-year time limit, it is not going to be allowed. In the second वाला case, it is exceeding 50 lakh rupees. आप बाद में ये सब आंसर रीड कर लेना प्लीज. Therefore, he can issue notice of those years. Okay, and if it is 52 lakh, then it is again an amendment. You can issue notice of those prior years. Okay. Next, we have a question on computation of income of a cooperative society. Cooperative society is engaged in marketing of agriculture produce. Profits from that business 60 lakhs computed. मतलब वो एक 80p का deduction also I have to show you. So you just go through the question once and then I will just quickly show you the solution. It has employed 10 new employees with salary of 20,000 per month on 1st May. Okay, so this is information about 80JJAA. 10 new employees with 20,000 per month का salary. Salary is paid by account pay check. So we have 10 into 20,000 per month into 11 months and into 30%. अगर आपको 80JJAA का, ठीक है. It gets its books of accounts audited. Audit लगते ही we can say 80JJAA is allowed and it has got 32 lakhs on fixed deposit with bank. Compute total income and tax liability and advise whether it should opt for the special provisions. Oh ho, मतलब सुनो. First we will compute old regime का total income, give deductions, net income, calculate tax as per old regime, calculate alternate minimum tax also क्योंकि old regime में AMT is applicable. Correct है? In that alternate minimum tax, as we are aware, उधर भी AMT के chapter में there is an amendment. Cooperative society का AMT is now going to be 15%. Then we will go to the new regime and finally decide whether new regime is beneficial. That's only the first part. Okay. Or second part, what would be your answer if it is a cooperative bank engaged in the business of banking? All other data is same. Assume it is not a credit society or cooperative agriculture and rural development bank. वो पूरा का पूरा part 2 we have to solve. So first cooperative society, old regime, AMT and then new regime and then cooperative bank, old regime, AMT, पूरा का पूरा we have to solve. Let us see. फटाफट. Profits and gains of business or profession. 60 lakh is given to us. Interest on FD. You can keep the question open so that you are able to match 92. ये 80JJAA का जो deduction है that I already showed it to you here. I already showed it. 20,000. 11 months because this is first May. Be very careful. 10 employees. So that's total उसका 30%. So 10 into 20,000 into 11 into 30%. 10 into 20,000. I showed it to you. Let me show it to you also. 10 into 20,000 into 11 उसका 30%. This will become your deduction of 80JJAA. And being a cooperative society, जो भी इसका ये वर्क करके प्रॉफिट है वो प्रॉफिट का 80p में डिडक्शन मिलता है. एंड 80p is not added back in AMT. 10AA 35AD net of your depreciation foregone and income related chapter 6 से not being 80p add back नहीं होता. क्या डिटेल में टेस्टिंग किया. सो ये आपका टोटल डिडक्शन 66 लाख 60,000. अकॉर्डिंगली दिस इज योर टोटल इनकम. ओल्ड रेजिम के कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी के रेट्स ये जाके इंट्रोडक्शन का चैप्टर चेक करो. 10,000 पे 10%, देन 20 एंड देन बैलेंस के ऊपर 30%. वी विल बी एडिंग सेस बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट एक्सीडिंग द थ्रेशोल्ड, सो वी विल एडिंग सेस एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू बी योर टैक्स लायबिलिटी. बट नाउ वी विल ऑल्सो, बिकॉज ये ओल्ड रेजिम है तो ऑल्टरनेट मिनिमम टैक्स भी होगा. टोटल इनकम वी विल टेक, वी विल एड बैक डिडक्शन ऑफ 80JJAA. लिसन, न्यू रेजिम में वी डोंट एड इट बैक. न्यू रेजिम में इट इज अलाउड, लेकिन AMT में वी हैव टू ऐड इनकम रिलेटेड चैप्टर 6A डिडक्शन बट नॉट 80p. इनकम रिलेटेड चैप्टर 6A, तो बोथ ऑफ देम आर इनकम रिलेटेड ओनली, but 80p we don't add back, so we will add back only 80JJAA. And when we go to new regime we don't add this. In new regime we don't add this but we add 80p. कैसा confusion है? Okay, we'll go to new regime later. पहले AMT पे फोकस करो. 2540 प्लस इनकम रिलेटेड चैप्टर 6 से डिडक्शन 660 इस टोटल पे AMT का जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी का अमेंडमेंट है 15% AMT. अदर पीपल के लिए इट इज 18.5 बट हियर वी विल अप्लाई 15% AMT. एड सेस 499 200. the normal tax is higher, so obviously normal tax, regular tax is going to be applicable. It is normal tax or AMT, whichever is higher. But now we will go in the new regime. In the new regime gross total income ये है ATP is not allowed only. ATP is not allowed. Where is the question of adding it back? It is not allowed only. But new regime में AT double J double A will be allowed. Figures are same. Calculation is same. You are only being tested. What is allowed, what is not allowed. तुमको इतना आता है क्या? तो only this will be deducted. This is going to be your total income. और इसके ऊपर न्यू रेजिम का कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी का रेट 22%. कंपलसरी सरचार्ज 115 BAD में कंपलसरी सरचार्ज है. BAA, BAB, BAD में कंपलसरी सरचार्ज है 10% एंड सेस वी ऐड तो वी गेट 2149 350 एज द राउंड फिगर. और न्यू रेजिम में AMT नहीं आएगा. तो दिस इज योर आंसर. तो ऑब्वियसली ओल्ड रेजिम में वी आर गेटिंग फाइनल आंसर 789. न्यू रेजिम में वी आर गेटिंग फाइनल आंसर 2149. सिंस टैक्स लायबिलिटी इन 115 BAD इज हायर, इट शुड नॉट ऑप्ट. क्या क्या टेस्ट किया है देखो. ऐसा नहीं है दैट वी हैव नॉट स्टडीड. वी हैव स्टडीड बट टैक्स रेट्स इन इंट्रोडक्शन चैप्टर 115 BAD in introduction chapter. Then in AMT we studied that income related chapter 6 will be added back but ATP will not be added back. 15% का cooperative society का rate we studied. Then chapter 6 में we studied ATJJAA. Then we studied the new regime में ATJJAA is one of the deductions which is allowed. But when everything is put at one place, ooh la la, introduction, deductions, alternate minimum tax, ATP, क्या क्या एक साथ tested. एक number bro. चलो. And what about a cooperative bank? How will it change? देखो. This will remain as it is. Business income and other sources. You will get your ATJJAA because of new employees, but ATP is not allowed to cooperative banks. ATP is allowed only to cooperative societies, not allowed to cooperative banks. So accordingly, this will become your total income. Old rates के हिसाब से we calculate basic tax, add cess, we get tax liability. Alternate minimum tax में we have to disallow this, and on 92 lakh we will apply 15% alternate minimum tax. We get this. So we are getting normal tax as 26 lakh 61. Only thing that is gone is your ATP का deduction. And anyways deduction होता तो भी AMT में we will not add it back. So here we get this. Obviously this being higher, this is going to be your tax. And now what if they take 115 BAD? So this remains same. ATJJAA will be allowed. ATP is not allowed only to cooperative bank whether old or new, but this will be allowed. And on 8540 we will calculate as per new regime. New regime के हिसाब से same amount, so same amount is coming. And now check. As per old regime your tax is coming to 26 lakhs. And as per new regime it is coming to 21 lakh. So here 115 BAD is lower, so it should opt. But 115 BAD अगर ले लिया तो do we know the condition? Once taken it will always apply. BAA, BAB, BAD. Once taken always applicable. Once taken always applicable. Only in BAC you have the system of changing, fluctuating and all that. Alright. So once again एक number question, superb question, but from everything that we have covered. Okay. चलिए let's go ahead. Next we have a question on SEZ का डिडक्शन. सब you know ordinarily SEZ का तो कैलकुलेशन आपको आता ही है ना सर. Qualifying amount is profit into export upon total turnover and then first 5 years, next 5 years. But again those who have attended the case law lecture only they will understand कि हमने एक केस लॉ किया HCL टेक्नोलॉजीज का. HCL टेक्नोलॉजीज के केस लॉ में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का एक जजमेंट था दैट देयर आर सम आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस व्हिच आर नॉट इंक्लूडेड इन एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर एंड देन वी सबट्रैक्ट दैट फ्रॉम टोटल टर्नओवर. ऐसा एक केस लॉ किया. ओनली दैट कैलकुलेशन इज टेस्टेड. द रिमेनिंग पार्ट इज very normal. So Beta LLP limited liability partnership engage in export of computers through two units, unit 1 and unit 2. Unit 1 is in SEZ and unit 2 is in domestic tariff area. So this is SEZ ka data, this is DTA ka data. Obviously for deduction we will use only this data. यहाँ का तो जो भी profit आता है that will be fully taxable. So what data is given? Export turnover, domestic turnover. तो इन दोनों को add करोगे तो you will get your obviously total turnover. Duty drawback, profit on sale of import entitlement. These are export benefits. मतलब आप समझोगे तो P&L में we must have credited 52 lakhs, 33 lakhs. Also unit 2 का if we make P&L separate तो we must have credited 48 lakh ऐसा करके. And this is over and above the sales. तो ये है हमारा export sales in both units. Domestic sales obviously we can get the total sales. Plus these are extra export benefits. Salary paid to employees ठीक है 700 and 388 in the respective units. Other expenses and this will give you your net profit. अगर आप ये सच में P&L बनाओगे ना यूनिट 1 का सी 1800 and 300 2100 का सेल्स है. ड्यूटी ड्रॉबैक का प्रॉफिट 52, सेल ऑफ इंपोर्ट आइटम में 33, सैलरी का 700 एंड ये 775 करोगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली 710 का प्रॉफिट यू विल गेट. एंड सेम थिंग दिस इनकम, दीज आर योर इनकम्स एंड दीज आर योर एक्सपेंसेस, ऑटोमेटिकली 840 का प्रॉफिट यू विल गेट. सो दैट P&L account basically is given to you in a statement format. This is the P&L account दैट दे हैव गिवन यू इन अ स्टेटमेंट फॉर्मेट हियर, ठीक है, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं। आगे क्या दिया हुआ है, एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन, इन यूनिट 1 एक्सपेंसेस ऑफ 41 लाख आर डिसअलावेबल, मतलब ये जो एक्सपेंसेस यूनिट 1 में हुआ है इसमें से वी विल डिसअलाउ 41, डिसअलाउ मतलब क्या ना, इसे चल यहां पे लिखता हूं, एड बैक 41, डिसअलाउड एक्सपेंस मतलब प्रॉफिट में एड बैक नो, डिसअलाउ 41, ओके। एंड एक्सपोर्ट सेल प्रोसीड्स रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया अमाउंटेड टू 1600, मतलब ये दिखाता है कि माय एक्सपोर्ट इज 1800 बट द सेल प्रोसीड्स रिसीव इज ओनली 1600, ठीक है। एक्सपोर्ट सेल्स ऑफ 1800 इंक्लूड फ्रेट एंड इंश्योरेंस ऑफ 300 लाख एट्रीब्यूटेबल टू डिलीवरी आउटसाइड इंडिया एंड रियलाइजेशन ऑफ 1600 लाख इंक्लूड अमाउंट ऑफ इंश्योरेंस एंड फ्रेट 80 लाख, मतलब 1800 के एक्सपोर्ट में से 1600 इंडिया में मिला, उसमें से 180 इज आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस एंड टोटल में 300 इज विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू योर आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस, मतलब एक्सपोर्ट का टर्नओवर एक्चुअली 1800 आप ले भी नहीं सकते हो, वी विल सी हाउ टू टेक इट, बट दिस इज द आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस इंक्लूडेड इन दीज रिस्पेक्टिव अमाउंट्स, ठीक है। यूनिट 2 में एक्सपोर्ट सेल दिया है, वी आर लीस्ट इंटरेस्टेड इन द एक्सपोर्ट सेल बिकॉज एनीवेज उसका कोई बेनिफिट नहीं है। एक्सपेंसेस विच आर डिसअलाउड आर 55, तो ये पक्का है कि यहां पे 41 एंड यहां पे 55 एक्सपेंसेस डिसअलाउड होगा। डिटरमाइन द टोटल इनकम एंड टैक्स लायबिलिटी ऑफ बीटा लिमिटेड, चलिए देखते हैं हाउ इज दिस टू बी डन। प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट यूनिट 710 प्लस 41 बीइंग डिसअलाउड एक्सपेंस, सो 751 हो गया, 840 प्लस 55, ये तो क्लियरली समझ में आ गया डिसअलाउड एक्सपेंसेस, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द टोटल। बस 10AA का कैलकुलेशन इज व्हाट यू हैव टू लर्न। Once we learn that 10AA का कैलकुलेशन, the remaining part अगर आप देखोगे एक बार ये वाला कैलकुलेशन आ गया तो दिस इज योर टोटल इनकम। ऑन दिस टोटल इनकम LLP है तो डायरेक्टली 30%, इनकम इज मोर देन 1 करोड़ तो 12% सरचार्ज, 4% सेस, ये टैक्स लायबिलिटी एज पर नॉर्मल प्रोविजंस आया, एंड देन अल्टरनेट मिनिमम टैक्स विल अप्लाई। तो 112 का जो इनकम है उसके अंदर वी विल ऐड बैक अवर 10AA का डिडक्शन, सिर्फ ये वाला पार्ट लर्न करना बाकी है। ऑन दिस वी विल अप्लाई 18.5 क्योंकि ये कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी नहीं है, सरचार्ज विल कम, सेस विल कम, ऑब्वियसली नॉर्मल टैक्स कितना है 391.58 and this is 354, normal tax obviously is going to be higher and that is what is payable. The whole question boils down to understanding कि सर ये SEZ का डिडक्शन कैसे कैलकुलेट हुआ। फर्स्ट दे हैव शोन यू द टोटल टर्नओवर, टोटल टर्नओवर 1800, क्वेश्चन भी ओपन रख लो, चलिए 1800 है प्लस 2100, अरे टोटल में तो दोनों आएगा ना, एक्सपोर्ट एंड डोमेस्टिक बोथ विल कम नो, but out of this total of 2100 as we are informed that 300 is out of pocket expenses, 300 is out of pocket expenses, that means export plus domestic minus out of pocket expenses, 1800 को we will take as total turnover and उसमें export turnover that we have received in India is only 1600, export turnover that we have received in India is only 1600। और इस देखो अगर एक्सपोर्ट हमको इंडिया में मिला सिर्फ 1600 है ना, तो ये बोलने के लिए भले 1800 है बट वी विल नॉट बी टेकिंग दैट, वी हैव रिसीव्ड ओनली 1600 और इसमें से भी तो वी विल बी सबट्रैक्टिंग द अमाउंट इंक्लूडेड। देखो टोटल आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस भले 300 है, लेकिन अगर मैं मेरे 1800 के टर्नओवर को दो पार्ट में डिवाइड कर दूं, 1600 एंड 200, दिस इज द एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया, दिस इज नॉट रिसीव्ड, ओके। और इसमें अगर आई हैव टू टेक 300 तो 300 का ब्रेकअप इज 180 इज ओवर ईयर एंड 120 इज ओवर ईयर, तो फाइनली व्हेन आई विल टेक एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर, ये 160 में से 180 माइनस करके अकॉर्डिंगली दिस इज व्हाट विल बिकम माय एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर। एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर 1400 और इसमें से भी मुझे माइनस करना पड़ेगा द आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस, सो फाइनली आई विल टेक एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर ऑफ 1420। नेट प्रॉफिट तो डिसअलाउड एक्सपेंस के साथ हमारा 751 वैसे दिख रहा है, लेकिन एलिजिबल नेट प्रॉफिट फॉर डिडक्शन विल बी आफ्टर टेकिंग माइनस और सब्ट्रैक्शन और आफ्टर डिडक्शन ऑफ दिस फिगर्स। देखो दिस इज द नेट प्रॉफिट, एड द डिसअलावेंस, आफ्टर एडिंग बैक डिसअलावेंस वी गेट दिस अमाउंट। लेकिन इस अमाउंट के अंदर मैंने पीएनएल भी तो इसके लिए बनाया है, इफ यू ऑब्जर्व that in this amount of P&L even these profits are covered, but are they in your SEZ activity? No, these are export का extra benefits, तो ये दोनों माइनस करके this is our eligible profit। qualifying amount का फॉर्मूला क्या है? profit into export upon total turnover, all three amounts का you have to do hard work। profit find out किया कैसे? net profit as per P&L, add disallowed expense and take subtract ineligible incomes, तो ये आपका profit for deduction purposes। एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर कैसे? इंडिया का एक्सपोर्ट टर्नओवर वी विल टेक माइनस आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस, तो 1420 एंड टोटल टर्नओवर में 1800 प्लस 300 इज द टोटल, लेकिन आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस नहीं लेंगे, तो फाइनली इट कम्स टू 1800 ओनली एंड फाइनली वी विल अप्लाई द फॉर्मूला एंड फाइंड आउट 666 इंटू 1420 डिवाइड बाई 1800 एंड फर्स्ट 5 ईयर से तो 100% के हिसाब से 525. एक बार आपको ये 525 का फिगर करेक्टली मिल गया तो रिमेनिंग पार्ट ऑब्वियसली एज कैन बी सीन कैन बी डन वेरी वेरी इजीली बाय ऑल ऑफ यू ऑल. नेक्स्ट वी हैव अ फुल फ्लेजेड क्वेश्चन ऑन पीजीबीपी. नाउ ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग ये पीजीबीपी का जो हम एडलेस नो इफेक्ट पूरा डिटेल के साथ वी हैव स्टडीड, ओनली दोज एडजस्टमेंट्स आर देयर. यहाँ पे इस क्वेश्चन के अंदर देयर इज नो एडजस्टमेंट विच इज एकदम ग्रेट और डिफरेंट और अवे फ्रॉम व्हाट वी हैव स्टडीड. दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी हैव स्टडीड. तो सिंपल क्वेश्चन के अंदर आपको पीजीबीपी का एज वी स्टार्ट विद नेट प्रॉफिट एज पर पीएनएल, इफ वी हैव टू डू एनी एडजस्टमेंट, इफ देयर इज एनी एक्सपेंस दैट इज डिसअलाउड, देन लेटर उसके ऊपर वी कैन टेक डेप्रिसिएशन. अगर कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर है तो डिसअलाउ करके वी टेक कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. ऑल द एडजस्टमेंट्स दैट वी डू एडलेस नो इफेक्ट का एडजस्टमेंट्स इन पीजीबीपी, ओनली दोज एडजस्टमेंट्स आर बीइंग टेस्टेड आउट हियर. तो नथिंग ग्रेट, नॉर्मल, एंड दिस कंपनी इज ऑप्टिंग फॉर 115BAA. तो अकॉर्डिंगली जो जो डिसअलाउ होता है वो आपको नहीं लेना है. तो यू विल फाइंड आउट ऑटोमेटिकली सॉल्व करके यू गेट इट. ओके. गामा इज यूएस कंपनी. ये तो हमने है ना एक एमसीक्यू के अंदर भी किया. यूएस कंपनी रिसीविंग इनकम बाय वे ऑफ एफटीएस ऑफ 3 crore फ्रॉम डेल्टा एंड इंडियन कंपनी. ओके. व्हाट इज द टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट? एफटीएस का नॉर्मल रूल क्या है? 10%, नो डिडक्शन ऑफ एनी एक्सपेंसेस. दैट्स द नॉर्मल रूल फॉर फीस फॉर टेक्निकल सर्विसेज. 10% विदाउट एनी डिडक्शन ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस 115A. ओनली एक्सेप्शन बीइंग अगर आपका परमानेंट एस्टेब्लिशमेंट इंडिया में है. ये कुछ मेरे लैपटॉप में प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है. नो नीड टू ओपन द आंसर पेज एनीवेज अगेन एंड अगेन. यू कैन चेक द आंसर फॉर योरसेल्फ. आई वाज ओपनिंग द आंसर खाली फॉर यू पीपल, आपके लिए. बाकी मैं क्या बताऊं, 115A के अंदर 10% is going to be the rate of tax applicable without any deduction of expenses. Without any deduction of expenses. करेक्ट है. लेकिन if Gamma has a permanent establishment in India, then क्या होगा? 44DA will apply. तो from the 3 crore का income we will take expenses incurred for earning, लेकिन it has to be the P specific expense. Okay, P specific expense, खाली वही expense का. और if we give anything to head office which is our actual expense का reimbursement, only that is going to be allowed. Expenses which are not wholly and exclusively incurred, that will not be taken. Not being reimbursement of actual expense, that will not be taken. Only those expenses which are wholly and exclusively incurred for the permanent establishment, उसका deduction लेके we take normal tax rate, and normal tax rate के हिसाब से we will be calculating. So that is what is being tested out here. Next, it's a question on transfer pricing. Fee and company engage in providing scientific research to several non-resident clients. Also provided to Zeta Incorporation, which guarantees 12% of loans where the transfer pricing is attracted. Whenever you give guarantee of 10% or more of loans, whenever you give guarantee of 10% or more of your loans, then automatically you become associated enterprise and it's an international transaction. So yes, transfer pricing will be applicable. Without prejudice to the answer, assume that transfer pricing are applicable. अरे मैंने पहले ही बोल दिया है applicable. Assessing officer has made primary adjustment of 310 lakhs. याद है? Primary adjustment, secondary adjustment. You make that adjustment, otherwise you will have to calculate notional interest. Okay. And order was passed on 1st April. Same was accepted. What are the consequent requirements? You have to pass secondary adjustment. And if you don't do that secondary adjustment, so you have to pay tax on notional. You have to calculate the notional interest for which they have given you 1 year lending rate of SBI on 1st April, which is 9% because the transaction is in INR. So do we know secondary adjustment mein, if we don't want to do the adjustment, what is the calculation of interest? The amount of secondary adjustment 300 into the rate of interest. What is the rate of interest? SBI ka rate plus 3.25%. So we can take 12.25% here, and this is for the full year because the adjustment of by the AO was done on 1st April and till 31st March we have not repatriated. तो ये पूरे साल का adjustment आएगा. That is going to be the notional interest that is going to be calculated. The question is the non-compliance हुआ तो what is the consequence if you don't do the secondary adjustment and don't repatriate money? So this much notional interest is going to be added in your income. Okay. Next, and I think this is the last question. Yes, this is on your DTAA. Very very pure and simple unilateral relief का pure and simple एकदम basic आपका question है. Income from sole proprietor in Pune, share of profit from partnership firm in Mumbai, ये तो आपका exempt income रहेगा. एग्रीकल्चर इनकम इन अ फॉरेन कंट्री 36,000 ऑफ दैट कंट्री है और वहां पे नीचे एक्सचेंज रेट भी आपको दिया हुआ है. टैक्स डिडक्टेड इज 9, तो वी कैन से 36 का 9, तो आई थिंक 25% आपका फॉरेन टैक्स रेट इज कमिंग. ब्रॉड फॉरवर्ड लॉस ऑफ दैट कंट्री इज नॉट अलाउिंग टू सेट ऑफ, बट देख इसको आप कन्वर्ट करके इंडियन के सामने तो सेट ऑफ कर सकते हो, और क्योंकि उस कंट्री से आपने ये टैक्स बेनिफिट लिया है तो इन डबली टैक्स इनकम दिस मच अमाउंट विल बी रिड्यूस. पीपीएफ दिया है, मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस का दे हैव सेड 28,000 टू इंश्योर हिज हेल्थ, ऑब्वियसली इट विल बी रेस्ट्रिक्टेड टू 25. 52 to ensure health of his mother and father who are resident of 65, so this will be restricted to 50. So 50 and 25, 75 का इसका 80D का डिडक्शन हो गया, एंड 20,000 ऑन मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट ऑन डिपेंडेंट सिस्टर हु इज अ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी. अब सीवियर नहीं बोला तो वी विल हैव टू टेक 75,000, यू नो, डिसेबल डिपेंडेंट 75 और 125, नॉर्मल बोला है तो दिस, एंड बिकॉज सिस्टर डज नॉट क्लेम इट यू, सिस्टर वुड हैव क्लेम्ड इट यू, तो वी विल नॉट गेट only. So basically आपको calculation of total income as per Indian provisions which will include foreign income, tax in India, average rate of tax compare with foreign rate whichever is lower, doubly tax income, ये आपका basic question on unilateral relief है. ये था आपका RTP of the May 2023 exam. As I told you, this is one of the easiest RTPs in the recent past, both the MCQs as well as the subjective. कहीं पे था जैसे MCQ में वो charitable trust का only that application वाला question, yeah, that cooperative society wala question which they asked, where you had to do cooperative society old regime, alternate minimum tax, and then new regime, then cooperative bank old regime, alternate minimum tax, then new regime. So a couple of things were complicated, but if you do everything, it won't be difficult for you. Thank you so much for your time and patience. All the best. Thank you very much. Like ठोक दीजिए, like ठोक दीजिए. Have a nice day. Thank you. और thank you भी टाइप कर सकते हो, वो कमेंट भी हो जाएगा. नहीं, तुमको जो करना है करो, बस अच्छे से एग्जाम दो, that is more important. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.